All right, guys, good morning and welcome to my Cisco WebEx webinar. So I'm just going to go over Cisco WebEx and what it is as a tool and how you can implement it in your own organization. Cisco WebEx is similar to GoToMeeting or Skype for Business. It is used to arrange meetings between people, conferences, and it has some pretty cool interactive tools such as being able to share your desktop, sharing applications that you have open, sharing certain files and being able to edit them on the fly. You can also do the usual stuff that you could do with GoToMeeting or Skype for Business where you can call in or have a number call you in order to join the meeting. And you can also use your webcam and start polls and all these other things. So let me just show you guys how you're going to acquire Cisco WebEx first of all. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them during the presentation. I will also be holding a Q&A session at the end in case anyone wants me to clarify something or to answer some of their questions. All right, so first of all, how do you get Cisco WebEx? Well, it's pretty easy. You just have to go to go.uic.edu/getwebex. And what that will do is it will take you to the U of I bookstore, and you could just add it to your cart for free. Select your university. You would just log in. I've already redeemed it, so I'm not going to go through that whole process, but then it would just send you a receipt, and you would have access to a Cisco WebEx account. One thing to take note of is that only full-time staff have access to this WebEx conferencing host license activation. Unfortunately, part-time staff and students do not have access. However, if you are hosting an event as a full-time staff and you want to include students or some of your part-time staff, they are able to join. They're just not able to host conferences themselves. All right, so let's go to the WebEx page. It's just webex.com. So WebEx is a bit different than GoToMeeting or Skype for Business in the sense that a lot of it is based online. There are supplementary applications that you can use to host meetings through Outlook and through your own Cisco WebEx application, but it's all pretty much based online with the way you're going to be scheduling meetings, starting, joining meetings, and just changing things. So this is the WebEx page. Let's just go here to the meeting center. And actually, let me just go over the preferences first of all. So we're just going to click on My WebEx and then Preferences. So here you're able to change general things like your time zone. This is huge. You want to make sure you're on the right time zone or else you're going to be receiving emails or meetings an hour late depending on whatever time zone you're in. So you want to make sure this is accurate because you don't want to be late to any of your webinars or meetings. You're also just able to change other options here, video settings. You can also connect to other conference systems if your organization has that. But that's pretty much all we're going to talk about for preferences. Now, this is the real meat and bones of WebEx, the meeting center. So here you're able to start a meeting instantly. If I just hit meet now, bang, I could just start a meeting instantly and people can join. I can invite them from that meeting. And I'll show you guys how that looks like a bit later. But I currently have a meeting open in the background, so I'm not going to fill that out. And let's just look at scheduling a meeting. So let's say you have a meeting planned for this Thursday. You can just go to schedule a meeting and you'll be able to do all of that from here. It'll give you a password that you can change. You can also make it so it hides the password because by default, people will get an invitation meeting and it'll show the password. In case you want this meeting to be super secure, then you can actually remove that option. And here you can just regenerate a password if you want. So I'm going to select Thursday. And you could select the time. Let's say it's going to be happening at 2 o'clock p.m. And for attendees, you can just add whoever you want. So I'm just adding some of my student staff here. And actually, let me just add just that one email. And what this will do is it will just send them an email letting them know, hey, we have a meeting for this Thursday. It will also give them the option to add that meeting to their Outlook. So let's just schedule the meeting. Cool. So we have a meeting scheduled currently, but if we wanted to, we can actually just start it instantly. However, we're not going to do that. So we can also schedule reoccurring meetings. Similar to Outlook events, in the calendar where you can set recurrence options, we can also do that for meetings. So you don't have to enter in that weekly meeting at the beginning of every week. You can just have it scheduled automatically. And what that requires is just going to schedule a meeting and going to the advanced scheduler. Unfortunately, there's no option here for the advanced scheduler, so you're going to have to go to schedule meeting and click on this hyperlink for the advanced scheduler. It's pretty much the same thing here. You have a couple different options. Meeting Center Pro is just the default meeting type that WebEx has. That means you can have up to 1,000 users joining via phone or computer audio. And let's just say we have a Friday meeting and you could change the password and such. And this is a lot more advanced because you go through multiple steps. So we're just going to list this as Friday. Sorry for that background noise. And we meet it every day at 10 a.m. You could change the duration, and you could even set email reminders a couple minutes before the meeting starts. So let's say this is a weekly Friday meeting. And similar to Outlook, you can have it end by a certain date or after a couple instances. Let's just say this is going to be something that we're going to be doing for the near future. We don't know when it's going to end. So we just click next. And this just changes how you want to connect. You can change the entry and exit tone. And this is where you would add attendees, and you could let anyone host an account or host a meeting themselves off of their account. You can also send an invitation email to yourself so you could forward it to other people. So let's just add one of my student staff, B. Kolak. You can also exclude the password from the email invitation. You can require attendees to have an account because by default, most attendees aren't required to have an account, or no attendee is actually required to have an account. So you can just skip through this stuff. And here we have the agenda portion. So this is essentially just the mission statement that you have for your meeting. You know, let's say we're going to be talking about quarterly, pardon my spelling, quarterly reports, right? And you could just keep going on. You could just enable or turn off a couple things like chat, video, notes, file transfers, and UCF media. And UCF media is essentially WebEx's proprietary file type that it opens and saves through the WebEx add-on tool. And let's just keep going. And look at that, we've scheduled a reoccurring meeting. So now if we go to My Meetings and we go to this Friday, which is the 2nd, we'll see that we have a meeting and it's reoccurring. It has this little arrow circular logo by it. And let's say one Friday you guys have a day off, the 16th, right? Well, you can actually just edit one instance of this reoccurring meeting by just clicking on this, hitting edit, and you can choose to edit only this meeting or edit this entire series if you're planning to move your Friday meetings to Thursday or anything else similar to that. And if you were just to edit this meeting, you would just go through all of these options again. Let's just say this meeting is going to start a bit later. Let's say it starts at 12 p.m. So we can just skip that and schedule the meeting automatically. And we can send updated meeting information to all our attendees. So it makes it really easy to edit and change things on the fly and to keep people updated. You don't have to send one mass email. Everyone just gets updated easily. So we can see that our meeting has been changed. Now let's just go back to that 16th date. And you can see that we have this recurrence logo or icon. However, you can see that the meeting was modified and there's an exception to the series. So that's a good way to know that one of the recurring events has been changed just a little bit. It could be due to time, it could be to the agenda. There's numerous things that can change. All right, now let's just talk about canceling meetings. This one's pretty simple. Let's just say we want to cancel that Thursday meeting. We do not need that. So you would just click the meeting, you would simply hit cancel meeting, and you can choose to send an email to all of your attendees that you're canceling it, or you could choose not to. I think most people would want to send it, so I'm just going to send it in this case. And sorry for the background noise. Let me just mute that computer. Okay. So that just canceled the meeting. It is no longer in my Thursday meetings list. See, it's totally gone. Now, let's talk about some other ways you could set up meetings or send invitations to meetings, and that is through using a couple WebEx add-on tools. So if you go down here under support to downloads, you'll find there's WebEx productivity tools. And you would just download this. And what this would do is it would give you a Microsoft Outlook add-on application. So you could just send emails and schedule emails straight through your Outlook client. It would also give you a little application that you open in the corner. Let me just open that right now and show you guys how it looks like. And it would just let you start meetings right here on the fly. So it's very nice. You can also do other things like look at meetings. See, I have a bunch of test meetings that I've set up. Oh, I also have that Friday meeting that I've set up. So let's go look at how we would set up meetings via Outlook. Let me just get into Outlook really quick. So you see here in the top left corner, I have the WebEx add-on already added. If you just installed it, it could be showing up on the right side of your ribbon, but I've set it so it's up on my left side. So all I would have to do is if I want to just start a meeting now, I'd click this and it would open up a meeting. However, I do have a meeting open in the background, so I cannot do that. Let's say I want to schedule a meeting. It's pretty simple. All you would do is just schedule a meeting, add your recipients or attendees that you want, and just change the subject, the location, and you could change all the reoccurrence settings, and it would be just like the reoccurring WebEx meeting or just like setting up a meeting online. One thing that's vital to this is you do not want to change any of this information because about 30 minutes before the meeting, it will start inputting a hyperlink for people to join, and it will include the passwords and all of that information. So just make sure that you edit everything above and nothing below. So you can also just schedule personal room meetings, personal conference meetings. Conference meetings just require audio. They're very similar to just conference calls themselves. Personal room meetings just means it's you and someone else in your own room. So that's how you set up a meeting through Outlook. Now let's just go back to that small application that I was looking at that I closed out of. It's called the WebEx Productivity Tools app. And this is pretty simple as well. Let's just go back to my original date, which is Tuesday. And you see here, it just tells me my name, and this return to meeting would usually just be start a meeting. So you could immediately start a meeting on the fly if you have some urgent thing to discuss. And you can also schedule meetings in the future. And this would use the Outlook productivity tool to actually schedule the meeting. So it's pretty cool because it links up with that. You can also edit your preferences from here. You can, again, view your meetings from here, see what's up and coming. You can refresh. It's pretty simple stuff. This application is pretty useful if you don't want to use the web application. All right, so now let's go to hosting a meeting. Let's just hit the meet now, and I would meet now, and it would ask me to install an add-on on my web browser if I haven't used Cisco WebEx before. Same thing with any of your attendees that are attending. Before they join the meeting, they are asked to add a add-on onto their browser or to just install a little file. It shouldn't require any administrative privileges or anything like that. It should be very easy and quick to use. So I would just hit Meet Now, and it would open up this page. And this page is just the add-on that Cisco WebEx runs. This isn't an application that installs directly on your computer. It's just something that opens up as you start your meeting by running that add-on. So you can see here on the right pane that I have my participants. Here I am, the host, Mark Kramer, and I have this attendee, Pat Kolakowski. So let's just show the very basic things that we could do. So you can change your audio options by just hitting more options. And here you can edit it so it will call you, and then you would automatically connect. Or you can call in yourself. If you click this, it will give you a drop-down menu of just additional information of what toll-free number it tells you to call, what digits it tells you to enter for the password, and what your attendee ID will be. Or you could simply just call using your computer, which will involve using a microphone or a headset. You can also change the settings there and change it on the fly. Say I want to use my internal mic instead of my plug-in mic. I can also change my headphones, very basic stuff. Here you can also invite and remind other people. So let's say I added Pat Kolkoski, but I wanted to add a couple of other people into this meeting. I can just click this and add whoever I want to invite it to, and it would just send that to them. But I'm not going to pester this person with emails, so I'm just going to close out of that. But it would send them an invite, and it will let them know that the meeting is happening. You can also remind people that the meeting is going on. So currently, since Pat Kolkoski, the only person who was invited to the WebEx meeting, has joined, it doesn't let me remind anyone. However, if you're missing a couple of attendees, you can just click under the Remind tab, and it will send a reminder email to everyone to let them know, hey, this meeting is going on right now, or it's about to occur in 15 minutes. So let's just talk about sharing a screen. This is pretty easy to use, and one thing you want to take note of is anything open, like this top bar or this webcam overlay, isn't visible on your attendee screen. So you can do numerous things, like you could share your screen, which is what I'm doing now. You could share specific files if you want to, and what that will do is it will open up the file itself in a separate window. So let's say I have an important document. Look at that, there's some important information here. And what this will do is it will only open up the document on their end. So they do not see anything else like your desktop or applications that you have open. It really helps to focus your attendees on that one subject. Now, you could actually edit the document as you have it open. However, it's not similar to editing it via Word or PowerPoint. It's actually WebEx's built-in tool. So I can do numerous things like add arrows, laser point. I could add text. Sorry about that. I can add lines, double arrowheads. I can add boxes, ovals, marks. And what this will do is it will just edit the document. It actually will edit the document on our end. However, it won't edit the original document. And I can also just erase all of this if I wanted to. However, let's just keep some of these changes. So I could save this document, and what it will do is it will save it as a universal communication format, which is WebEx's proprietary format to open and send files, so then you could use in the future. However, I do not want to save it, so I'm just going to exit out of here. So let's go back to the share screen option. So besides sharing files, we can also share applications. If I want people just to view Google Chrome and nothing else, it'll show it on their end. Even though I can see the rest of my desktop and applications that are open, other people can only see Google Chrome. So as I move this around, the desktop will actually just show up as a gray background. They won't be able to see anything else. This is very useful if you have some private information that you don't want to disclose on your desktop, or if you want to just keep people focused during the meeting. You can also share a whiteboard, a web browser, and what this will do is it will open up a new window of your default web browser, and it will do exactly what we were doing with Chrome. It will show only the web browser and nothing else. However, let's go back to just sharing my desktop. So I'll go more into the whiteboard a little bit later. You can also share multimedia. And what this will do is if you have a link, for example, let's say we have a YouTube video. We don't, but we're just going to go to youtube.com. What this will do is it will show up a little window like this in everyone's screen. And if you want to show everyone a similar training video or a website, you can do that and it will automatically show it up on their ends. And it's really cool just to keep everyone on the same page. All right. So that's pretty much all you could do. You can also share your meeting window, which is what we were looking at previously with this. Let's just go back to sharing screen. You can also assign people presenter status, and we'll go into that a bit later. You can pass keyboard and mouse control, so other people can actually take control of your mouse and keyboard. I'm not going to do that for now, but you would just hit here, and other people would be able to input their mouse and keyboard controls in case you can't find a certain area on a website or they want to show you how to do something. You can edit your audio settings here. You can look at who's participating. You can chat with people. You can also annotate, which is similar to what we were doing with that important document. and this will just annotate the page on the fly. Oh, you want to join this, blah, blah, blah. But let's just erase all of that for now. All right. And this will also save if you keep the options there. All right. So you can also just go through Multimedia Viewer here, and you can start recording on the fly. So if I want to record just a specific section of my conference or meeting, then I would just click this, and I would just declare where I want to save this meeting. And it would start recording the meeting right there and then. And then I could just turn that off by hitting stop screen sharing. Or actually, I can turn it off here in this record panel. So we've gone over sharing desktop applications files. Let's also just talk about how you can update your webcam settings. So in case you want to add your webcam later on, you can just do it here and it will show you your webcam options. This is me. You can change it if you have a add-on webcam via USB or if you're just trying to use your integrated webcam. But we're just going to ignore that for now. There are also a couple of options that you can do. And one thing I want to show you guys is how you can change the panels. So right now on this right side, we just have participants open. However, if we want to show more panels, such as polling, chat, notes, multimedia player, viewer, then we could just hit OK. And it will give us an option to look at that in our panels list. However, for some reason, it's not showing up. Oh, okay, there we go. You just have to click on these tabs. So here I can send messages to specific people or to everyone. I do not think that you can send messages to specific groups yet. You can also take meetings of the notes, and it will allow you to save that in a text document. And you could use the multimedia viewer and other things. But let's go to one thing that I like the most about Cisco WebEx, and that's the polls. So here, if we go to sharing our screen and polling, we can actually start live polls. And what this will do is it'll allow us to create questions. For example, do you like this meeting? And it'll give people options. No, yes, depending on what you enter. You can also add different types of questions. Sorry, yeah, okay, so for some reason that's not working. Let me just clear all. Sorry about that. That's strange. However, if you were to click in this dropdown, it will allow you to look at different types of formats where you could do short answer formats or you could do multiple choice, multiple answer formats. But let's just do this. Do you like this presentation? And I'm just going to open the poll. And what this will do is it will open a poll on everyone's end, and they're able to vote or not vote in this instance on how they feel. Oh, as we can see, someone voted they do not like this presentation. And if you want to save those results, you can actually just click the save button. But if you're trying to close the poll, it should automatically ask you to save those results. It didn't, but you could just go back here, save the results, and what this will do is it will save it in a text format with all the questions and the percentages of who picked what and what the distribution is. You can also import polls that you've pre-made or you've used last time. So for example, if you ask the same questions at your Friday meeting, then you could just import that and you won't have to go through this process over and over again. It's a lot faster, a lot more efficient to use. So that's pretty much all we've got for the sharing screen options. And you see we have this recorder panel. Going back to this, I can click the report button, and what this will do is it will record the whole meeting, whatever I'm doing in here. And at the end of the recording, after I hit stop, it will send an email to me, the host, and it will send me the recording of this meeting, and I'll be able to share it with other people. However, if you want to make it so it just saves the recording directly on your computer, you can just go to meeting recorder settings and do record on this computer, which is currently to what I have it set, but by default it's set on record on server. All right, so let's look at changing presenter permissions. So let's say we want Pat to share his screen and present part of the meeting for us. We can do that by just dragging this small blue and green sphere on his icon, and that will make him the presenter. However, one issue of WebEx is by default, people are allowed to switch presenter status to themselves or to anyone else if they want, even without your permission. So a way to circumvent that, and just to make sure that the people that are becoming presenters are the people that you're choosing, is just going to participant and making sure that anyone can share is unchecked. This way, if Patrick tries dragging the sphere onto his icon, it will not work. It will only work if I do it myself. See, so now he's a presenter, and the only way for him to change that back is by having me drag it onto my icon. Okay. Now, there are other things that attendees could do. For example, they could ask questions. So you see how this handshake or hand symbol is there? That just means he's raising his hand, he's asking a question, and then you can answer him directly from there. And he can also unraise his hand. And another thing essential to WebEx is the only person that could end the meeting is the host. So we want to make sure if you're leaving the meeting early, for example, you have something to do, then what you would do is you would right click on that person's name and you would change the role to host. That way they could take over and make sure that the meeting still goes on even without your presence there. You can also do other things with audio controls. For example, muting people on entries. This is all under the participant section. You can mute people on entry. You can unmute everyone. It doesn't let me do it currently because Pat doesn't have a mic. You can unmute, mute, all of these other things. So it's pretty useful. You can also invite people to meetings which are in progress. Just going over here, if I wanted to add HTruck3, then I could just send him an email and it would let him know, hey, we have a meeting going on. It would give him the password and he would be able to join. Now, let's say I'm done recording this meeting. I no longer want it. Then, like I was saying, it would by default send you an email of your recording, and then you'd be able to play it through the WebEx player. You could also share it with other people because it's one link that you would open and you would just need a password. But here I should just have it on my desktop. Yeah, see, I have this meeting file. I would just click on it, and now we have this meeting recording. And I could also just save that file and send it to other people if I please. And that's pretty much all we could do with Cisco WebEx. Does anyone have any questions or anything they'd like me to expand upon? Okay, it looks like no one currently has any questions. Okay. Well, I hope everyone has a great day. And yeah, this is Cisco WebEx. Once again, you can acquire it through the UIC bookstore at go.uic.edu/getwebex, or sorry, UIC web store. And you can just redeem it for free as long as you're a full-time staff member. If you have any other questions about WebEx or you need help setting it up, you can always email the Student Affairs Technology team at satech@uic.edu, and we'll be eager to answer your ticket and help you guys out. But anyway, that's it for my WebEx presentation. I hope you all have a great day, and goodbye.